Hi, ladies. Hi, everyone. I'm Carla, the founder of the Feminine Energy. So, on this video, I want to talk about coffee dates, and I want to talk about why go on a coffee date, why not go on a coffee date. So, well, first of all, before I give you my personal opinion, I want to tell you that this about coffee dates, about going on a coffee date or not going on a coffee date, it's a very personal. It's very personal, and it's it's a preference. It's a personal preference that some women like it, some women hate it, you know, and so there's no rights or wrongs. That's the first thing that I want to tell you. There's no rights or wrongs. So you need to feel, you can hear other people's opinions. I'm going to give you my opinion, but you can listen to other people's opinions. But at the end of the day, you need to check with yourself. What is your truth? What makes you feel good? What makes you feel comfortable? So because that's what feminine energy is. It's not following other people's opinions or what other people tell us to do. It's about we checking with ourselves. How do we feel? How does it feel in my body? Does it feel right? Doesn't feel uncomfortable? So you need to do that. Check with yourself and do what makes you feel comfortable, regardless of what other people do. So having said that, so what I think about coffee dates, and I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but I'm not dating. So, but when I used to date, yes, I did like coffee dates, and I'm gonna tell you why from a feminine energy perspective. Not from a high value woman does or what a low value woman does. No, not any of that, but from a feminine energy perspective only. So, and this is especially, I think coffee dates are especially good if you're doing online dating, because you're talking to people, you're talking to men you never saw, you never met, you don't know who they are, you don't know how they are, you don't know how they're going to treat you, you know nothing about them, right? So, from a feminine energy woman perspective, it's we as feminine women, we need to protect our energy. We need to protect our time. We need to be selective. We need to be careful. So when you accept, instead of a coffee date, if you accept a dinner date as a first date, you are committing your time and your energy, and you're making an effort for someone that you never saw, for someone that you don't know if how he is, you don't know if he deserves that time, that amount of time and commitment from you. So I believe that going on, and also I know this is my personal opinion, I feel like going on a dinner date as a first date, it's kind of odd, to meet someone who is a stranger at night. If you want to go and have a meal, at least have lunch. Don't go on, and have lunch and meet at daylight. Don't go meet at night. Also for safety reasons, because you never saw this you never saw this person. So, but if if you prefer a dinner date, a first dinner date, you think the man is putting more effort, is putting more, it's planning a proper date, is putting more effort, and you feel more comfortable, yeah, by any means do that. But I'm trying to give you the perspective of your own time, and energy and commitment, because, and if you want to talk in terms of value, what a high value woman would do, to me it's not very high value to give so much time and energy and effort to a man who you never saw. It hasn't done anything to have that time and energy and commitment from you, because he has to make an effort to deserve that time and commitment for you to go on a dinner date with him. Because dinner or lunch, it's a bigger chunk of time of commitment than going on have a coffee, because you will be there for at least 2 hours. And if you don't like the person, it can be, of course, you can always get up and leave, but some women don't feel comfortable doing that, and they feel stuck there, for that amount of time. Because sometimes, I mean, if you are on a date with a man, regardless of it's a coffee or a lunch or dinner, and if he's being rude or disrespectful to you, yeah, by any means, just get up and leave. But sometimes it's not just he's being rude, it's just there's no chemistry, there's no vibe, there's no connection, and you're both unless you're very honest, and and you both tell each other, okay, we don't feel there's anything here, but unless you do that, you're going to be stuck there, for a whole meal, and someone just don't feel comfortable with that. So a coffee date, I understand a lot of women don't like coffee dates because they think, no, this is cheap, it's lazy, it's cheap, it's a low investment from a man, it's treating me in a cheap way, etc. But, well, first of all, I don't think any woman should attach her value to how much a man is spending on a date, right? Because your value is unconditional. It's not, you don't have more or less value based on how much a man is spending on a date. And also, I can agree, but it is cheap, going for a coffee, coffee is cheap, so it is cheap, but it's cheap from him, I agree, but it's also cheap from your side, on the sense that you are not investing a lot on a man you don't know, right? So I think even before you accept a date with a man, a first date, especially if you are meeting online, you should do your vetting. You should vet a man properly. So you shouldn't go on a date with a man, coffee or dinner, whatever it is, just because a man invites you on a date. No, it's like you need to vet them properly. You need to have your standards, and you need to ask the right questions to him, and you need to understand a little bit of his lifestyle, his mindset, etc., etc. So you can accept, you are curious, you become interested, and you become curious, and you want to go on a date with him and want to go on a first date. So you need to vet properly before you even get out of the house and go on a date. So that's the first thing that you need to do. And then a coffee date, which I don't even see it as a date, I see it as more of a meetup, because you can only get to know someone in person properly. So it's just a meet, and it's not only to see how he is physically, but it's also to see his personality, to see if there's a connection, to see if how he presents himself, how he treats you, how he treats others in that space, etc. So if you want to go on a second date, then you can go on a dinner date, and you will go to this dinner date in a comfortable way. Like, you will be excited to go on this dinner date with him. You will be doing your hair, doing your makeup, choosing your clothes, etc., etc., and you will be excited. You feel more comfortable to go to allocate 2 hours or 3 hours of your time, to go to a dinner date or a lunch date, whatever, with these men that you already know and you already feel comfortable, instead of taking 2 or 3 hours of your day to go and have a meal with someone you never saw before, which is, I don't consider that it's a good investment of your time, really, because, as I was saying, as a high value woman, as a feminine woman, and if you want to talk about high value, being high value is being protective of your time and your energy, and you being selective. So that cheap, that you can want to call it cheap, investment of a coffee, it's enough for you to be vetting the man. It's the next step of vetting him. So the first step was vetting him online by asking the right questions. You can also do a phone call as well before agreeing to meet. And the next step is to vet him in person, and see if he deserves more of your time, right? Because it has to deserve to have your time for to sit down for a meal, for a dinner, or for lunch. It's not just because a man is paying you for a meal that means that he deserves that time from you, right? Because it's not really about him paying for the meal. It's about your investment yourself, of your time, of your energy, because that's the most important thing that you have as a feminine woman. It's your time and your energy, and you don't want to let just anyone entering in your space, right? And especially for a long time, right? Because if you don't have a connection with that person, those 2 hours of your time, it could be just 15-20 minutes, half an hour of a coffee, right? So I personally, I don't see coffee dates as lazy or cheap, but I understand women that think so, but I also feel that a lot of women who don't like coffee dates and think they are cheap, they are lazy, they are for men who are not serious, etc., it's because very often they don't vet men properly before having a coffee date. They sometimes match online. I'm talking about online dating, but you can meet them somewhere else. But this happens a lot on online dating. You meet someone and or a woman meets a man and she doesn't vet him properly. They exchange like 2 or 3 sentences, and he asks on the coffee, she accepts and goes, and she knows nothing about him, right? She didn't vet him. She didn't take the time to ask him the right questions, and the questions that are based on her standards of what she's looking for in a partner. So she didn't take the time to ask those right questions. She didn't take the time to to even do a phone call, etc., and she is already accepting the date. So yeah, then the odds of the date of the man don't be up to her standards, or him not being serious, are even bigger, right? Because that's very important to do. It's to vet men before you accept a date, and then when you allocate just 15-20 minutes, half an hour for a coffee date, what you are communicating to this person, to this man, is this is the time and energy that I give you right now without knowing you. This is the only thing that you get from me now. So if you want to see me more, if you want to spend more time with me, then you will have to invest more. Then you have to make a bigger effort next time. So, and then next time I can invite you on a lunch date or a dinner date, or an activity and dinner, and that can happen as well. And then also you have the opportunity to see what he's going to do next, because if you go on a coffee date and then he wants to see you again and he asks you for another coffee date, okay, then if I already saw you, I want to see you more, but if he's not willing to up the effort, and invest more of his own resources and time and energy, then also it doesn't deserve yours, right? But if you want to go and you like him and he asks you on a proper dinner date next, on a proper lunch date, yes, then you can accept, because you already got to know him. You think he deserves, he treated you well, he's up to your standards, so he deserves more of your time and your commitment and your investment and your energy. Then you can accept a date, a second date with more time. That takes more time. And yeah, so that's what I feel. That's how I feel about coffee dates. And it's all about seeing if you connect with this person, but it's also about vetting them, see if they are up to your standards, and if they are, great. If they are not, well, you didn't waste a lot of time and energy anyway. So, and you can go along with your day and do other things, or go on another day next, and that's how you feel. So I feel differently. I feel like going straight into a dinner date, or with a man you never saw before. To me, if you want to talk about value, to me that is not high value. That is not protective of my energy. And that is basically me giving too much to a man that has done nothing to earn that. And as I was saying, simply paying for a meal, no, that's not enough. That's not enough, because at least to me, yes, a feminine woman wants a man who is a provider, who is generous, of course, and that is amazing, and we should, be. It's nice that he pays, he invites you and pays, etc. But when he never saw you before, when you never saw this man before, what he's paying, the fact he's paying for a meal, it's not enough to have your time and energy. Because if you want a real healthy masculine man in your life as a partner, it's not just about how much he's spending on a meal. It's about who he is. It's about his character. It's about his personality. It's about his values, his morals, if he's kind, if he treats you well, what is his life goals, if he's family oriented. There's a lot of things that go into this, right? And it's not just because he's paying a meal that it deserves your time and your energy and your commitment to that 2 or 3 hours of your time, right? Because there's a lot more, unless of course that's all you want. You just want a man who pays, and that's it. But if you want a healthy partnership and a connection, a true connection, and so there's a lot more that goes into that. So, and it's not just paying for a meal is not enough to give him so much time and energy. And you want to have that small first date or first meetup in order to see that, in person. And ask the right questions on that small coffee date, about his goals, about his lifestyle, about anything that it's important to you, it has to do with your standards. So to see if he deserves that more time and more energy from you. So that's my view about coffee dates. And let me know what you think. Let me know what have been your experiences with coffee dates, with dating in general. Let me know in the comments here. I would love to hear your experiences. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't. I will have a lot more yummy content coming soon. Bye. Have a nice day.